Hey team, so good to be back with you. It's just me and Jamie tonight,
Hey,
and we're here for another social distancing social.
come on.
And tonight's theme is all about identity. So we're just going to get stuck in straight away, and I'm going to ask Jamie a question if that's okay.
Of course it is.
And the question is, when you think of the word identity, kind of what comes to mind for you?
Yeah, great question, Ellie. I mean, I think for me, it's more than just the way I look. That's a part of it, of course, kind of. But I think it's more that it's kind of like a lot to do with my upbringing. There's a lot to do with the way that I've been taught stuff, some of my decisions and my morals and my ethics, those kind of things.
Yeah.
All have to do with my identity and kind of shape. It's really identity is the person that I am, and it's more than just the way I look and the clothes I wear. It's kind of the inner part of me, who I am, and what makes me tick and what I enjoy doing. So that's probably that for me. Okay, so to follow on from that, Ellie, I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In what ways or things can people define their identity?
So like you've already said, people can define their identity by what they look like, but we can also identify with certain cultures or beliefs, with like trends, as well. So like you could identify with like K-pop, or you could identify with Buddhism or Sikhism, or you could identify with a certain culture. But it goes beyond, I suppose, what you just look like, but what you enjoy, what you're good at. If you're part of a community, I think people can identify in those as well. So it goes beyond just perhaps your blood relatives.
Yeah, fantastic. Good answer.
I've got another question for you, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
And identity is a really personal subject, isn't it? It's really deeply personal. So could you tell us about a time when perhaps you found it difficult to be fully happy in your identity, and like what did that do to you, and how did you respond to it?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think most people who know me or have met me or have ever seen me will see that I'm quite a slender guy. I've always been quite a slim guy, kind of growing up from being a child, really. And I remember as a teenager, particularly as a teenage boy, there's loads of expectations upon what a teenage lad should be. So, quite macho, kind of having a bit of muscle, that kind of thing. And I really tried. Honestly, I did try. I joined a gym for a year. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't put on any muscle. And as a teenager, actually, probably as a young adult, it did used to get me down a little bit. And like, people used to say things and make not very nice comments towards me. And I'm a person who can often brush things off. But I think when you get things over and over again, it begins to kind of weigh on you, doesn't it? So, but what I did, I suppose, as I grew up and got a bit older, I just began to accept myself. And I was like, do you know what? This is me. And like, I'm still a good person, just because I look a certain way, because I have a certain thing that I am, that's okay. And I just began to get to the stage where I was like, do you know what? I'm Jamie. I'm not going to be defined by being thin, but it's just the way I am. And that's okay. And that doesn't bother me. So it's kind of, I just got to a stage where I accepted it, I suppose, for myself. So,
Good. That's so
right.
good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, final question for you, Ellie. So there's loads of things that have an influence over our identities and that, like kind of things like social media, friends, celebrities. Where do you, Ellie, find your identity in, or what do you find your identity in?
So beyond just kind of what I look like and what I do and what I love, I would say my identity is more based in my faith. In fact, I would say it is 100% based in my faith. And for those who don't know already, I'm a Christian. I believe in a guy called Jesus. And I'm just going to read you a verse from the Bible, which explains a bit more about why I put my identity in my faith and why that is a bigger part of it. And it goes like this. Yet to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. And the he that they're talking about is Jesus. So it says here that all those who believe in Jesus and believe in Jesus have the right to become children of God. And God is this amazing, loving, compassionate, divine being. So if in terms of looking at my physical identity, if I take on the attributes and the behaviours and the looks of my parents, when I become the right for child of God, I take on those same behaviours, the same identity through him, because I am part of his bigger family, of which we call the church, the big family of God. And not only do I take on his attributes, but I have the right to everything that he calls his own too. I take heir with Christ as well. And so that is that's a big part of my identity and where I place it. So yes, Facebook trends and Instagram and K-pop are super exciting, but my faith just trumps it a little bit.
Right. And do you know what we want to say tonight to you all, whenever you may be watching this, to young people, that we've talked a lot about this, haven't we? We've talked a lot over the last few weeks, even when we were could meet together in our building in Weoley Castle, about, as kind of the leaders at Limitless Weoley Castle, we all believe in Jesus. And do you know what I want to say to you tonight, or today, sorry, what could it like for you to begin to take your identity away from other things and actually begin to think, what could it mean to reflect on the verse that Ellie kind of shared, to be a child of God? And we really believe that you are all created in God's image. So we want to say we hope you're really well. We're hoping to get back into the building really soon, and we'll keep you up to date. And we thank you for joining us again for another socially distancing social. Take care. God bless. See you soon.
Big love.